to order. Denise, please call roll.
Lisa Fricke.
Present.
Patsy Kojohns.
Here.
Deborah Neary.
Here.
Robin Stevens.
Here.
Rachel Wise.
Here.
John Witzel.
Here.
Patricia Tim.
Yes.
Maureen Nichols.
Yes.
Commissioner Bloomstead.
Present.
All present.
Thank you, Denise. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Information regarding the Open Meetings Act is posted on the east wall of this room on the south side of the door. Live web streaming will be available through the State Board of Education website. Board members, please engage your microphones before speaking and turn them off when you're done speaking. And please turn off your cell phones at this time. Thank you very much. Approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Just get minutes
What-
minutes first again. You said agenda was.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, excuse me. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the June 6th through 7, 2019 State Board of Education meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Denise, please call roll.
Wise.
Yes.
Witzel.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Fricke.
Yes.
Kojohns.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Commissioner Bloomstead, are there any recommended changes to today's agenda?
Just a couple of minor things. Number one, obviously Reg Lechty was with us yesterday, so he won't join us again, unless he feels like he really needs to, I guess, but no, he won't be with us. And then also Sydney Jensen's a special presentation that I think we'll do as soon as we can after public comment for her timing. And then maybe kind of last, we had Corey Epler on the agenda yesterday, and given timing, we're going to move that presentation till September, so to talk a little bit about the instructional materials. We'll get you other information in the meantime. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Go ahead. Move. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Kojohns.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
Fricke.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Witzel.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Denise. We will now have public comment period. This period of public comment is available for any person who wishes to address the State Board on subjects within its authority. Please note that the public comment should be on topics related to the State Board's constitutional and statutory authority. Thanks to the members of the public who have attended today. We have no request for a 10-minute special appearance. We will now move into our 5-minute public comment period. I would like to remind you to please sign in if you've not already done so. There are sign-in cards at the back table. We have 3 public comment cards turned in, and the public will speak in the order of the cards were received. Each member of the public will have 5 minutes to speak during the public comment period. I will announce the name of the speaker and the person who is next, so they are prepared to come forward. Our first, if you will, public comment is Mary Leah Free, and our next after her will be Rebecca Gill Rose.
And just as you come up, you can go ahead and come up. Our timer's not working today, so I will keep time on my phone, and then I'll let you know when there's 1 minute left, and then I'll let you know when time's expired.
Very good. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Like you said, my name is Mary Leah Free, and I am a public school teacher at Norris Public Schools, and I'm here to discuss the foreign language standards. I'm in my 13th year of teaching Spanish, and I have taught from preschool to college age. And currently, like I said, I'm in the middle school right now. Before I start, I do have a letter from another colleague of mine who was unable to make it. And if it's okay, I would like to read that letter first. My colleague's name is Jacqueline, and she says, "My name is Jacqueline Moore. I am currently starting my 12th year of teaching Spanish 1 through 4 in Syracuse, Nebraska. I still remember when I received my binder of frameworks and standards during my first methods class at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. It has served as an important cornerstone for my program, as I was the only Spanish teacher in my school and wanted to make sure that I was teaching with best practices that were supported by research. As the years passed, these best practices were starting to shift to best reflect the journey our students were taking in the world language classroom. While the standards for the state of Nebraska were ahead of their time when written, recent pedagogical shifts make it the perfect time for Nebraska to make changes to the standards to not only reflect the shift from the national level, ACTFL, but also the changes that are taking place in classrooms across the state. Through my part in the creation of these new standards, I can say with confidence that I believe that the teachers of Nebraska were well represented. The collaborative group consisted of teachers from all corners of the state, schools of different sizes, schools with differing student demographics, and different languages taught being represented. The teachers and educators also varied in ages taught and years of experience. I believe that through the eclectic nature of the group, world language teachers can share my sense of confidence in the group who work together for the betterment of the world language learning in our state. As I stated earlier, these new standards are moving toward better alignment with the national standards while creating an easy-to-follow common language for Nebraska teachers. This language is imperative as it can be implemented in large multi-school departments and one-teacher departments, like my own, without reinventing the wheel. With the explanation of proficiency levels for each standard, teachers now have a realistic guideline to show how students are moving through the proficiency levels. These new standards have not only taken into consideration the teaching of common world languages to students learning a second language, but have also incorporated information for ancient and classical languages like Latin and the education of heritage and native speaker learners. Lastly, these new standards go above and beyond solely language learning. There is also a focus on connecting students to the world outside of the classroom through cultural connections, connections to communities, digital citizenship, and personal growth and reflection. This demonstrates the importance that educators in Nebraska place on educating the whole child by working to create global citizens who can connect what they are doing in the classroom with products and practices from around the world, while also exploring the relationship between their language learning and future educational and professional goals. As a classroom teacher, I fully support the world language standards and believe that with the adoption of these standards, the Nebraska Department of Education is ensuring the world language education in the state remains one of the top in the nation while producing students who are 21st century global learners. And that's Jacqueline's letter.
And you have one minute left.
Okay, I guess just because I have not much time, but I would like to reiterate the fact that these standards have been worked on for actually many years. I was a part of the very beginning process when Dr. Janine Thyler started, just getting our minds wrapped around how can we make these more applicable to our students today after so many years have passed. And I agree that the proficiency levels are well explained. They use a common knowledge in which our teachers all through Nebraska can relate to and be on the same page. I also am a parent and of public school children, and I definitely would want these standards for my children being taught in a public school setting in a foreign language. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Free. Thank you very much, ma'am. Up next, Rebecca Gill Rose, followed by Randy Bartalis.
Well, my name is Rebecca Gill Rose, and I am a current Spanish teacher at Palmyra Junior Senior High School. I've served on the Nebraska International Languages Association for probably about 12 years. As a past president, a vice president, a secretary, a site coordinator, and most recently, the Nebraska SEAL coordinator. I have visited Washington, D.C. on behalf of NYLA, on behalf of our own students here in Nebraska, on 4 separate occasions to speak out for language learning, its benefits, and just simple language appropriations. I'm entering my 24th year of teaching, and I couldn't have chosen a better profession, but I will add that these standards were adopted my 2nd year of teaching, and I consider myself a little bit aged at this point. So I am speaking on behalf of the proposed 2019 standards for world language. The new standards being proposed are a more current reflection of modern world language pedagogy, now being reflected across the nation, as well as across the state. While our current standards have stood the test of time since 1997, they are a bit antiquated in their pedagogical approaches and practices in the world language classroom. While the 1997 frameworks can be seen weaved throughout the new 2019 standards being proposed, world language teachers such as myself have developed better approaches to language acquisition. We have also determined that real-world language communication is by far more important. And furthermore, today's students should be able to evaluate situation through multiple lenses and to be competitive in a global market. As a world language teacher, I strongly believe that the 2019 World Language Standards reflect this and speak to these changes. I am in total agreement with the work and the results of the World Language Standards and excited to weave these into my lesson plans. These proposed standards are research-based. They are best practices of some of the finest Nebraska world language teachers I have known and worked with in the past. The list of world language teachers asked to participate and to write these standards is a lengthy one, with professionals teaching across the state and among a wide array of grades and language courses. These educators researched, wrote, and rewrote a sound framework. Today's language instruction has changed, and our Nebraska standards should reflect this. Today's language education is about real-world production of language and global awareness. These standards, these new 2019 standards, certainly speak to these, and I am in full support of adopting these as a Nebraska public school teacher. But I also did not mention that I am also a parent of 2 children, one that just graduated from Nebraska Public Schools, from Lincoln Public, and he took 4 years. And I wish these standards would have been in place because this would have made him even more competitive. And not to mention that because I am stepping down as a coordinator of the Nebraska State SEAL, I think these standards speak fully to that SEAL, and these students are taking a national standardized test, not only in reading, speaking, writing, but also listening. And I just think these standards speak to that. So,
Thank you very much,
you.
Rebecca Gilrose. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Randy Bartalos.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. My name is Randy Bertolis, and I have the world's best job. I teach at Wayne State College in the rolling hills of northeast Nebraska, where I am professor of geography and chair of the Department of History, Politics, and Geography. Every day, I get to help train pre-service teachers who are going to go on to teach the K-12 social studies standards in our schools. I love my job so much that, candidly, I'll tell you this, I would do this job for half the pay. But what I ask is that you please don't repeat that to either the governor or my wife. During the past year, it's been an honor and a privilege to once again chair the geography writing team, which is helping to revise the state social studies standards. Now, my team is composed of in-service teachers, retired teachers, dedicated teachers, who have decades of collective experience. And all of us on the geography team, as well as members of the history, the economics, and the civics team, have been working together since last October, crafting and fine-tuning the best possible K-12 social studies standards that we can come up with. We do this work because it's necessary, because we were asked, and because, as Henry Drummond says in Inherit the Wind, because the forces of ignorance and prejudice are always hungry and demand to be fed. Case in point, In my classes, I regularly instruct students who aspire to one day teach social studies at the elementary, middle, or high school level. Last spring, an elementary education major enrolled in one of my intro classes came to my office wanting to discuss her poor course grade. When I explained that frequent absenteeism and inability to turn in homework was at the core of her problem, her reply was that the material in my class simply wasn't that important because she would never have to teach geography in elementary school. When I explained to her that geography was indeed one of the 4 subjects, core subjects, anchoring the K-12 social studies standards, she still didn't believe me until I showed her the standards online. Unfortunately, incidents like this are not rare among pre-service social studies teachers who take few to no geography or economics or other social studies courses as part of their college prep work, particularly at the elementary level, and only a couple of classes at the middle or high school level. Every day I confront a generation that has little exposure to the wider world besides playing World of Warcraft online with 17 teenagers from Tokyo at 3 in the morning. This generation has access now at their fingertips, in their hand tumors, to more factual information about this planet and its people than at any time in recent memory. But social studies can sometimes be confusing because the open-ended nature of the field stimulates opposing perceptions and demands inclusion from a wide variety of constituents. It is this level of openness and the fact that you can get more than one correct answer in social studies that drives our STEM colleagues crazy, but lies at the core of our strengths. Because answers in the social studies change over time and from place to place, which is why to facilitate student success in an increasingly interconnected world, the teachers who have been diligently writing and reviewing these standards for nearly a year have taken such pains to incorporate rigor, inquiry, and multiple perspective, because Nebraska's next generation of global citizens will need to be fluent in this knowledge. Our approach is going to expand students' knowledge, particularly in geography, and enable them to think critically about challenges. On your phone, the GPS on the little screen looks like magic, but it isn't. There is real, actual geography and a tradition behind it. Young people carry around the world in these things.
1 minute.
But they have a lot to unpack in their heads. Most countries in the developed world offer far more in the way of K-12 geography instruction than we do in the United States, because these countries recognize the value of reaching out and teaching their children about different cultures and potential markets for their goods. Finally, geography can't tell people how to live, but we can help people ask the right kinds of questions about how we utilize the environment, how we organize society, how we produce and consume food, water, energy. But Americans, when we're not at war or planning a vacation, don't often give much regard as to how people change or are changed by geography. A lot has been said about climate change in the standards. It's 2 words out of 15,000. I'm here to tell you more than 80% of parents in the United States support teaching of climate change in school. And that's 2 out of every 3 Republican households as well. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this revision process, our teams have confronted the tough issues. I pray you make a good decision on these standards, and I thank you for your kind attention today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. The lucky students at Wayne.
Luck of
Ladies
the
and-
draw.
And by the way, since I'm on the State Board of Trustees, I won't share anything either about that salary thing, so.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a report from Sydney Jensen, 9th grade English teacher at Lincoln High School and the 2019 Nebraska Teacher of the Year. Welcome, Sydney.
Good morning. How are y'all? Good morning. It's good to see y'all again. All right. So it's been a busy few months in the best way possible. So some quick updates about what I've been up to since I last visited with the state board. The class of 2019 State Teachers of the Year traveled to Washington, D.C., and were able to celebrate our National Teacher of the Year, Mr. Rodney Robinson. That included some sit-down meetings with representatives from the Board of Education at the national level. The President of the United States got to meet with us and thank us for our service. And so overall, it was a really positive experience. But then I got to come home and celebrate with the 2019 class graduating from Lincoln High School. This picture shows some of my students that were in my class as 9th graders. They made promises that they would take a cute picture with me in their cap and gown 4 years later so I could put it on my bulletin board, and you bet they paid up. So that was fun. June was really packed with some really great opportunities to visit pre-service teachers. I've developed a strong relationship with some of the instructors and professors over at Midland University as well as Doane, and they invited me on several occasions to come in and share with the members of their future teacher cohorts, and that was very exciting. Additionally, I was able to present at the Future Ready Nebraska conference here in Lincoln to talk about some strategies for incorporating technology into your classroom that's effective, engaging, and efficient, so that those things are building up the curriculum that we've got set before us that is already outlining some great standards for our students. I also was contacted by Kennesaw State University, which is a couple hours north of where I grew up. They have a really neat podcast called I Teach Live, and they contacted me. They found me on Twitter and saw that I grew up in Georgia, and so I was able to go on that podcast and talk about my passion work, which really leads right into this next slide. I briefly met with Senator Ben Sasse at the Nebraska breakfast while in Washington, D.C., and then continued to bother his office to set up a sit-down meeting just to introduce myself, let him know that his office is right up the road from Lincoln High, and he's always welcome to come down and visit my classroom and see all of the great things that are happening in Nebraska public schools through our eyes. And also talk to him about what I consider to be a great need for accessible mental and emotional health supports for our teachers who work with students coming from areas of trauma and experiences of trauma, who then experience things like compassion fatigue and secondary trauma. I know he's not on the committee for education, but I assume that he knows people who are, and if I can be a person that he reaches out to and asks my opinion on it, then that would be a great partnership moving forward. Last month, went to the Education Commission of the State's annual policy conference in Denver. That was a great time. That top photo is with some of the other state teachers of the year, as well as Emily Zevely from CCSSO. Rodney Robinson, our national teacher of the year, is in that as well. We decided to call ourselves the backpack crew because we walked around the conference with our book bags the whole time because we don't want back problems. That was an awesome experience, not only to reconnect with the 2019 cohort, but also to see lots of y'all there and spend more time getting to know y'all and talking about one of my favorite things in the world. So. Pretty much right after that, you do laundry and you pack up again, and we went down to Huntsville, Alabama for Space Camp. We were incredibly lucky to be down there during the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and so that brought some really cool opportunities. We learned so much. I think I learned more about space than I ever knew I wanted to. And still enjoying sharing stories about those fun experiences with colleagues now that we're doing our pre-planning over at Lincoln High, as well as with family and friends. As y'all know, we had an exciting shift in the NDE conference for Agents of Change, and so it was a virtual conference. That was a first time for me, but it turned into a great experience thanks to the great people here at the Department of Education making that so seamless. So I presented a session on building a culture of instructional coaching in your building and some strategies to make that something that other teachers will seek out and ask for from other leaders in their building that aren't just administrators, emphasizing how everything comes back to equity and all kids deserve great teachers, and one way to help teachers grow and become better and better every day is by working with a coach to be able to focus on those little things that will make the classroom experience even better for our kids. Last week, I was able to deliver a keynote speech to the new teachers here in Lincoln Public Schools. There are around 400 new hires for LPS, so it was a pretty packed house. I think it's maybe the biggest room I've ever spoken to. So I was a little nervous, but it was a really great experience. I'm so excited for all the new faces, and the energy in the room was just magnetic. We've got a lot of passionate new public school teachers here in Nebraska that I think we can all be very excited about. And the last thing that I want to share with you is my work sort of on the side to build the Nebraska State Teacher of the Year program through social media. Y'all know I love Twitter. I think I talked about it last time. And so building up that Twitter presence to try and elevate the program and the work that the Department of Ed is doing within the program. But also starting a Facebook page that I'm hoping to then pass on to the next Nebraska Teacher of the Year so that that can become something that snowballs and continues to grow with each person hereafter. Because the more that we can get the word out about the great opportunities that we have for awesome public school teachers here in Nebraska, the more people that will have nominating and going through this great process to be able to experience these amazing growth opportunities as well.
Thank you, Sydney. Thank you so very much.
Oh, one last thing. Sorry, I forgot. Next up for me. So we've got the Next Steps Conference coming up here in October. And additionally, I'm presenting at the Read Aloud Nebraska Conference. I did find out some exciting news yesterday. We were presented with an opportunity via a partnership that NSTOY and CCSSO have with TED, of the TED Talk conferences. And we were able to submit proposals to potentially record a TED Talk while we're in New York City in October. And I found out yesterday that I've been chosen to move ahead in that process. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank
Thank you
y'all.
very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to our action items prior to taking a break on the hour. Patricia, we'll move on to the Policy Committee. Patricia Tim, is there a motion on item 6.1.A?
Yes,
I move to adopt proposed revisions to State Board Policy P3, delegation to the Commissioner.
Second?
Second. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Stevens,
yes,
Witzel,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patricia Tim, is there a motion on item 6.1.B?
I move to adopt the resolution to recognize the 75th anniversary of the GI Bill and commend its importance in providing equity to Nebraskans.
Second?
Second by Rachel. I'll read the resolution.
Yes, please.
Resolution to recognize the 75th anniversary of the GI Bill and commend its importance in providing equity to all Nebraskans. Whereas this year marks the 75th anniversary of the signing of the World War II Era Service Readjustment Act of 1944, better known as the GI Bill of Rights, or the GI Bill, by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt on June 22, 1944. Whereas the GI Bill provided higher education, job training, and home ownership within reach for millions of World War II veterans, by 1951, nearly 8 million veterans received educational and training benefits, and 2.4 million received $13 billion in federal loans for homes, farms, and businesses. The GI Bill was later adjusted to include veterans of the Korean and Vietnam Wars and was expanded to all who have served in the armed services. Whereas in the decades following World War II, the GI Bill has bettered the lives of ex-servicemen and women, along with millions of dependents, through educational opportunities, including vocational training and access to colleges and universities, attaining the American dream of home ownership and starting a farm or business, readjustment allowances, and access to health care. Whereas GI Bill benefits for education and training assist beneficiaries with meeting cost of tuition, books, supplies, and housing for non-college degree programs, traditional degree programs, apprenticeships, on-the-job training, and other quality career development programs, providing equity to all veterans. Whereas the GI Bill currently benefits more than 7,000 veterans in Nebraska. Whereas approximately 130 instructional institutions and training facilities provide education to veterans and eligible persons in Nebraska, and whereas let us remember our sacred debt to our veterans and remember that when we give them the chance to excel, there is no limit to what they might accomplish. Now, therefore be it resolved, the State Board of Education does hereby acknowledge 2019 as the diamond anniversary of the GI Bill and commend citizens to take due note of this celebration. This is signed on behalf of the Nebraska State Board of Education this 9th day of August 2019, signed John Witzel, President, and Maureen Nichols, Vice President.
And John, would you, or maybe Matt, tell everyone when this resolution is going to be presented?
Yeah, and I saw Brad walk in, so maybe I'll just have Brad come up quick and describe the upcoming conference and when we intend to be able to share this with folks. Well, go ahead, Brad.
Certainly. Hi, Brad Dirks, Administrator, Accountability Accreditation Office, and Program Approval. Definitely excited for the resolution to come in front. Next week, or I should say be at the end of next week, is the start of the National Association of State Approving Agencies Conference in Omaha, Nebraska. The Nebraska Department of Education is designated as the state approving agency for Nebraska, which approves GI Bill programs, on-the-job training and education programs for veterans across our state. And the National Association, which we're part of the membership, is having their national conference, their annual conference here in Omaha. And during the banquet dinner, which would be the following Tuesday, there will be a presentation from John, President Witzel, at that conference to the President of the National Association at the banquet dinner that evening. Then we're also having a veterans panel to discuss veterans' experiences with the GI Bill, good and bad, and for the conference attendees to hear from. And President Witzel's also on that panel as well.
Any questions?
I would just like to share that my dad gave his leg in World War II. And his greatest gift to me and my siblings was 4 years of college. And under the GI Bill. So I'm most proud to have my name on this resolution.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, first of all, thanks for sharing. That's neat. My father served in World War II, Philippine Islands. He came back whole. But my main point is we're so fortunate to have as our leader a lifelong military person. And so I want to personally, and I think maybe for the whole board, say thank you, John,
Thank you, Robin.
for your service. And I don't know, is there others here that have served? And I guess I'd like to know, were you a recipient of any of the GI Bill?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Robert. Yeah, a lot of the, if you will, education that we were required as officers, as professional education, I'll give you an example, sometimes outside were master's degrees and so forth, and those were, if you will, taken care of by the GI Bill. As a matter of fact, after I retired, I went back to Bellevue University and got, as I like to call, retooled after the military. And the GI Bill helped me there too, so it was quite a benefit. So thank you for allowing me to serve, Robin. Lisa.
Thank you all for sharing. Come from a military family, and I'm very proud to be a part of a team that recognizes. I kind of get emotional when you guys share things that remind me of my family, but I'm very proud to be a part of a team of state board members and staff that support with resources and that directly to the GI, but the benefits that reap on to the families, and we've recently even done more to support the families of the military. And I'm very, very proud that we're doing that, and I know we'll continue. So thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Lisa. Any other comments? Thank you, Pat Tim, for making all this happen in regards to resolution. It was her brainchild, her initiative that worked it. So thank you very much, Pat. And with that, Denise, roll call.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. We'll move on to our action items. Next will be AQuEST Teaching and Learning Domain Committee. Lisa, is there a motion on item 6.4.A?
Yes, sir. Teaching and Learning Committee.
Microphone.
I'm sorry. I move to grant the temporary approval to Bellevue University to implement their plan to phase in a teacher education program.
Second.
Is there a motion?
She made the
Oh.
Okay, made in the motion, okay.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, Pat seconded. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Wise?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Lisa, is there a motion on item 6.4.B?
Yes, sir, and after that long pause, I thought I made a mistake.
No.
So I will move on. I move to approve the 2019-2020 Nebraska Council on Teacher Education, the NCTE membership roster.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rachel. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Lisa Fricky, is there a motion on item 6.4.C?
Yes, sir. I move to approve the educator preparation programs in Nebraska colleges and universities for 2019-2020.
Thank you, Lisa. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rachel. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Denise. Lisa, is there a motion on item 6.4.D?
Yes, sir. The final action item is to repeal Rule 46, Career Education Partnership Act grants.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Pat Tim. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Wise?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Denise. We'll now move into AQuEST Student Success and Access Domain Committee. Patsy Kojons, is there a motion on item 6.5.A?
Yes.
I move to approve the public school districts and educational service units that have established early childhood education programs in accordance with the provisions of Rule 11.
Second.
Second by, who was, it? Pat Tim. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Neary?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patsy Kojons, is there a motion on item 6.5.B?
Yes, sir. I move to approve the Morrill Public Schools Early Childhood Program.
Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Rachel. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Witzel.
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patsy Co-Johns, is there a motion on item 6.5.c?
Yes. I move to approve Grand Island Public Schools Early Childhood Program to offer fewer than 450 instructional hours due to severe weather during the 2018-2019 school year.
Second.
Second by Pat Tim. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Neary,
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patsy Co-Johns, is there a motion on item 6.5.d?
Yes. I move to grant conditional approval under Rule 14 for the applicant non-public school to operate in the 2019-2020 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Pat Tim. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Tim,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Co-Johns.
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patsy Co-Johns, is there a motion on item 6.5.e?
Yes, and it's the last one for me, John.
I want to, okay, thank
Okay.
you.
I move to repeal Rule 53, Special Education Residential Care.
Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Pat Tim. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Nichols,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Wise,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Co-Johns.
Yes.
Fricky.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Denise. We'll move on to Strategic Planning, Performance, and Improvement Committee. Rachel Wise, is there a motion on item 6.7.a?
Yes, I move to accept the affidavit of school closing due to severe weather filed by Cody Kilgore Unified Schools and grant permission to that district to offer fewer than the minimum instructional hours for school year 2018-19 under the waiver provisions contained in State Statute 79-213 RRS and NDE Rule 10.
Second.
Second by Patsy Co-Johns. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Fricky,
Yes.
Co-Johns.
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Se-
Second.
Second by Rachel. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
I seconded that.
Okay. All right. That was the second. Okay. Thank you. Fricky,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Co-Johns.
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. And ladies and gentlemen, board members, at this time, we're going to take a break until 10 o'clock, where we will reconvene for, continue on with our agenda.
All right.
Move to the disposition of cases heard before the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission. The following information is in consideration of and applies to each case of the Nebraska Professional Practices cases being heard today. For each of the following cases, the board has been provided with the record of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission's proceedings containing the findings of facts, conclusions of law, recommendation of the commission, and all the pleadings, exhibits, and a written transcript of the NPPC hearing are marked by State Board as Exhibit 1. The notice of disposition hearing and certified return receipts are marked as Exhibit 2. These exhibits are received in each case. We will first hear from a representative of the NPPC, then the petitioner, and finally a representative of the respondent. Each representative will be given 10 minutes to present his or her statements. The board will not receive any additional evidence or testimony beyond that contained in Exhibits 1 and 2. Our first case, the State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-10, Commissioner versus Marcus Perry. Will the representative of the Professional Practice Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Good morning. I'm Kelly Mothersbaugh, and I'm here representing the Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Marcus Perry. On December 18th, 2017, in the Lancaster County District Court, the respondent was charged with sexual assault, first degree, and child abuse, both felonies. A trial was held on June 22nd, 2018, and a jury found the respondent guilty of intentional child abuse, a felony. On August 2nd, 2018, the respondent was sentenced to 18 months of incarceration, 18 months of post-release supervision, and is required to comply with the Nebraska Sex Offender Registration Act for 25 years. The commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education that the respondent's certificate be permanently revoked.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you very much, ma'am. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Good morning. I'm Sarah Hulak on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as it is consistent with prior precedent and the facts warrant the recommended sanction in this matter. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Seeing and hearing no questions, thank you very much. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect the respondent did not appear. Does any board? This proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination on this at a later date. Next case, the State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-11, Commissioner versus Amber Dothit. Will the representative of the Professional Practice Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself, please?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Amber Dowdett Yesa. On September 11, 2017, pursuant to a plea agreement, the respondent was found guilty in the Merrick County District Court of assault of a peace officer, healthcare professional, third degree, a Class 3A felony, and driving under the influence, second offense, a Class W misdemeanor. On February 8, 2018, the respondent was sentenced to 36 months of probation and 10 days of jail. The commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education the respondent's certificate be revoked for a period of 10 years.
Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Good morning again. Sarah Hulak on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as it is consistent with prior precedent and the facts warrant the recommended sanction in this matter. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect the respondent did not appear. This proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination in this matter at a later date. The State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-12, Commissioner versus Matthew Hoffman. Will the representative of the Professional Practices Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself, please?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Matthew Hoffman. On September 25th, 2018, in the Saline County Court, pursuant to a plea agreement, the respondent pled guilty to 2 counts of third-degree sexual assault, each a Class 1 misdemeanor. On November 20th, 2018, the respondent was sentenced on each count to a $1,000 fine and 365 days in jail to be served consecutively. The respondent also will be registered as a sex offender for 15 years. The Commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education that the respondent's certificate be permanently revoked.
Does any board member have any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Sarah Hulak, on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as it is consistent with prior precedent and the facts warrant the recommended sanction in this matter. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Counselor. Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you, ma'am. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect that the respondent did not appear. The proceedings is now closed. The board will make a determination on this at a later date. The Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-13, Commissioner versus Jeremy Nicholson. Will the representative for the Professional Practice Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself, please?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Jamie Nicholson. Beginning on or after August 31st, 2018, the respondent did not adhere to the terms of her contract with the Emerson Hubbard Public Schools for the 2018-2019 school year. The Commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education the respondent's certificate be suspended for a period of 1 year.
Any questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much, ma'am. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Sarah Hulak, on behalf of the Commissioner, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as is consistent with prior precedent and the facts warrant the recommended sanction in this matter. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect the respondent did not appear. This proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination in this matter at a later date. The State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-14, Commissioner versus Nicole Merchant. Will the representative of the Professional Practices Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Nicole Merchant. Beginning on or about July 3rd, 2018, the respondent did not adhere to the terms of her teaching contract with the South Sioux City Community Schools for the 2018-2019 school year. The Commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education the respondent's certificate be suspended for a period of 1 year.
Does any board member have any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you, ma'am. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Sarah Hulak, on the behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as it is consistent with prior precedent and the facts warrant the recommended sanction in this matter, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Counselor. Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much, ma'am. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect that the respondent did not appear. This proceeding is closed. The board will make a determination in this matter at a later time. The Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-15, Commissioner versus Jennifer Patti. Will the representative of the Professional Practices Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Jennifer Patti. Beginning on or about May 21st, 2018, the respondent did not adhere to the terms of her teaching contract with the South Sioux City Community Schools for the 2018-2019 school year. The commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education the respondent's certificate be suspended for a period of 1 year.
Thank you, Kelly. Does any board member have any questions of the clerk? Seeing and hearing none, thank you. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Terry Hulak, on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation as consistent with prior precedent and the facts and record warrant the recommended sanction in this matter. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect that the respondent did not appear. This proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination in this matter at a later time. The State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-16, Commissioner versus Sharon Kramer. Will the representative of the Professional Practices Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Matthew L. Bloomstead versus Sharon Kramer. And I apologize, I am missing a page from my script, so I'm going to be going off script for this one, for the last two. The respondent was employed by the Ogallala Public Schools as a special education teacher beginning 2012-2013 school year. She was observed on video surveillance taking cash from a cash box and placing it on her person while selling admissions at a school wrestling meet. No charges were filed against the respondent. In February of 2009, the respondent's Nebraska certificate was revoked for a period of 2 years after she was found guilty of theft by unlawful taking, when she was found to have unlawfully taken funds in the amount of $907 from the North Platte Booster Club. The respondent was subsequently reinstated by the State Board on August 11th, 2011. The commission deliberated on the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education that the respondent's certificate be revoked for a period of 10 years.
Thank you very much. Any questions by any board members? Seeing and hearing none, thank you, ma'am. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Sarah Hulak, on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, petitioner in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation. While this is a case of first impression, the facts warrant the sanction in this matter, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Board members, any questions? Seeing and hearing none? Thank you very much. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? The record will reflect the respondent did not appear. This proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination in this matter at a later time. State Board of Education is prepared to consider the disposition of case number 19-17 in the matter of reinstatement of Dwayne Borchers. Will the representative of the Professional Practices Commission please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Same thing this time as well. Kelly Mothersbaugh, representing the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission on the matter of Dwayne Borchers versus Matthew L. Bloomstead. The Petitioner's standard teaching certificate was revoked by the State Board of Education for a period of 2 years, beginning on the 5th day of May 2017. The petitioner further alleges that he's been employed by Ayers and Ayers, Inc. from 2016 to 2017 and J-Tech Construction from September 2017 to present day. The petitioner further alleges that he has fully complied with the order of revocation, that he would not engage in any practice which is listed in the statutes or regulations as grounds for revocation or suspension of a certificate, and that he is familiar with the criteria of professional practices that have been adopted. The Commission deliberated the facts before it and recommends to the State Board of Education that the petitioner's certificate be reinstated.
Any questions? Seeing here none, thank you very much. Will the petitioner please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself? No. Sir. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Dwayne Borchers.
You're welcome, sir. We're glad to have you here. You have 10 minutes, sir.
Okay. Basically, I just want the Board of Education to look at my 35 years of commitment to kids in coaching and teaching, work in the community, volunteer work that I've done pretty much all my life, and look at that commitment, look at my accomplishments in education, and not look at the 10-minute lap in judgment, or as my dad said, my DSA, which is a dumb attack. And that's...
So, does any board member have any questions for the petitioner?
I did go through counseling. I've done everything that has been asked of me and continue to do the right thing, and look forward to having an opportunity to teach again.
Well, thank you very much for your appearance today, sir.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The board will make a determination on this matter.
No.
Oh, petitioner, the respondent? Okay. Will the respondent please come forward, be seated, and identify yourself?
Sarah Hulak, on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Matt Bloomstead, respondent in this matter. We are in support of the professional practices recommendation. I do believe that the facts in this case and the evidence that was presented at the hearing do support his reinstatement.
Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, the proceeding is now closed. The board will make a determination at a later time. Maureen Nichols, Vice President, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, I move that the State Board go into executive session to deliberate and receive legal advice from legal counsel on the contested cases.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Tim?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Geary?
Yes.
Ricky?
Yes.
Wise? Yes. Co-Johns? I'm sorry. Co-Johns?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay.
State on the record.
Page 16.
The board will now go back into executive session only to deliberate and receive legal advice from legal counsel on contested cases. State Board of Education is going to be coming out of executive session. Mo, is there a motion to come out of executive session?
Yes, I move that we come out of executive session.
Second, discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Fricky?
Yes.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Wise, is there a motion on item 6.A and NDE case number 19-10?
Yes, I move in Commissioner versus Marcus Perry, ND case number 19-10, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, permanently revoking respondent's special services permit, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Second.
Second by Pat Tim. Any discussion, questions? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much. Vice President Marie Nichols, is there a motion on item 6.9, NDE case number 1911?
Yes. I move in Commissioner versus Amber Duthit, NDE case number 19-11, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, revoking respondent's teaching certificate for a period of 10 years, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much. Pat Tim, is there a motion on item 6.10 in NDE case number 19-12?
Yes. I move in Commissioner versus Matthew Hoffman, NDE case number 19-12, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, permanently revoking the respondent's administrative certificate, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Yes.
Been seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Neary?
Yes.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patsy Co-Johns, is there a motion on item 6.11 in NDE case number 19-13?
Yes. I move in Commissioner versus Jamie Nicholson, NDE case number 19 through 13, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, suspending respondent's teaching certificate for 1 year, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Thank you, Patsy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Deb Neary. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much, Denise. Patricia Tim, is there a motion on item 6.12 in NDE case number 19-14?
Yes. I move in Commissioner versus Nicole Merchant, NDE case number 19-14, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, suspending respondent's teaching certificate for 1 year, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rachel Wise. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Wise.
Yes.
8 yes.
Robert Stevens, is there a motion on item 6.13 in NDE case number 19-15?
Yes. I move the Commission versus Jennifer Pate, NDE case number 19-15, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendations of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, suspending the respondent's teaching certificate for 1 year and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Deb Neary. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Wise,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Fricky,
Yes.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much. Vice President Marie Nichols, is there a motion on item 6.14 in NDE case number 19-16?
Yes. I move in Commissioner versus Sharon Kramer, NDE case number 19 Oh, I'm sorry. I move in Commissioner versus Sharon Kramer, NDE case number 19-16, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission revoking respondent's teaching certificate for a period of 10 years and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Second.
There is a second. Any discussion? No questions? Seeing and hearing none. Denise, please call roll.
Neary,
Yes.
Stevens,
Abstain.
Fricky,
Yes.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Wise,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 abstain.
Thank you, Denise. Lisa Fricky, is there a motion on item 6.15 in NDE case number 19-17?
Yes. I move in the matter of the reinstatement of Dwayne Borcher's NDE case number 1917, that this board adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the recommendation of the Nebraska Professional Practices Commission, allowing the petitioner to apply for a teaching certificate and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Tim,
Yes.
Witzel,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Wise,
Yes.
Co-Johns,
Yes.
Fricky.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, counselors. Thank you all very much.
You should bring the, we should put the 4 of them together. Yeah, when we give this back to, be sure. Just put it on, when you, if there's anything else you're gonna leave here, put this with it and give it to Andrea, and that'll be shredded.
What were you gonna bring? Mr. Summers? We'll consider on with our agenda. 6.16, consider the hearing officer's proposed findings of facts, conclusions of law, and recommended decision affirming the respondent school district's decision in NDE enrollment option case number 19-05, Reynolds versus Westside Community Schools. We'll continue on with 6.17. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion? Wait, are we supposed to go into? On 6.16, we'll consider the hearing officer's proposed findings of facts, conclusions of law, and recommended decision affirming the respondent school district's decision in the NDE enrollment option case number 19-05, Reynolds versus Westside Community Schools. We will also consider the hearing officer's proposed findings of facts, conclusions of law, and recommended decisions affirming the respondent school district decision in NDE enrollment option case number 19-08, Avila versus Northwest Public Schools. This is okay. Marie Nichols, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, I move that the State Board go into executive session to deliberate and receive legal advice from legal counsel on enrollment option contested cases.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Denise, please call roll.
Ricky?
Yes.
Co-Johns?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes,
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
8 yes.
thank you. The board will now go into executive session only to deliberate and receive legal advice from legal counsel on the 2 option enrollment contested cases. Thank you. motion to come out of executive session?
Yes, I move that the State Board come out of executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Denise. Moving on. Patricia, Tim, is there a motion on item 6.16, an NDE case number 19-05?
Yes. I move to adopt the hearing officer's recommended decision affirming the respondent school district's decision, NDE enrollment option case number 19-05, Reynolds versus Westside, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Is there a
Second.
Second by Mo, okay. Discussion, questions? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Patricia, Tim, is there a motion on item 6.17, an NDE case number 19-08?
Yes, I move to adopt the hearing officer's recommended, wait a minute, where am I? I move to adopt the hearing officer's recommended decision offering the respondent school district's decision, NDE enrollment option case number 19-08, Avila versus Northwest Public Schools, and to adopt the final order proposed by legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Wise?
No.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll now continue on with our agenda, if you will, board reports, dates, and discussion items. Page 49.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Lisa Fricky? So moved. Is there a
Second.
Second by discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Kojons?
She left.
She's up.
Oh, sorry. Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Abstain.
We have 6 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Patsy Co-Johns?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
You guys are getting way too fast. Would you please remind me who made the motion?
Lisa made the motion, Maureen made the second, or vice versa, perhaps.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons? Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Deb Neary?
I don't have any. That were.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none.
Okay.
Denise, please call roll.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons? Neary?
Abstain.
6 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent.
Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Maureen Nichols?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Rachel. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Wise?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons? Neary?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Abstain.
6 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent.
Is there a motion to approve the meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Robin Stevens?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Rachel. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Stevens?
Abstain.
Neary?
Yes.
Kojons? Fricky?
Yes.
6 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent.
Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Patricia Tim? So moved. Second? Second by Rachel. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Tim?
Abstain.
Nichols?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Kojons? 6 yes, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
Thank you, Denise. Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for Rachel Wise?
So moved. Second.
Second by Pat. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Denise, please call roll.
Wise?
Abstain.
Stevens?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Witzel?
Yes.
Kojons? 6 yes, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
Is there a motion to approve meetings that took place in the past that were not previously approved for John Witzel?
So move.
Is there a
Second.
second? Second. Any discussion? Denise, please call roll.
Neary?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Kojons? Witzel?
Abstain.
Tim?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion to approve the future meetings participation?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Denise, please call roll.
Witzel?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Fricky?
Yes.
Neary?
Yes.
Kojons? 7 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you, Denise. The next items are information items only and written reports for the board and for our information only. Do you have any comments, Commissioner? No, none for you. In regards to adjournment, thank you for those who tuned in to the broadcast. A work session will be held on Thursday, September 5th at 2 p.m. and a board meeting will be held Friday, September 6th at 9 a.m. in this room. The August State Board meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.